Hi, my name is Kao Soua, and I am an engineering training through the Graduate Engineer and Land Surveying program at MnDOT, the Minnesota Department of Transportation. And this program is a 2-year program where we get to rotate through the different offices within MnDOT. And depending on which office I'm at, I will do different things. But for the most part, we just spend a certain amount of time in each office. And then when we're done, we go to a different one. My family is Hmong, and we immigrated to the United States in the summer of 2005 when I was about 8 years old. I have a big family. I'm the oldest. I'm the second oldest of 7 children in our family, and my oldest sister has 3 nephews. So a lot of my time outside of work is spent with my siblings and my nephews, just doing all sorts of stuff that we do at home. Sometimes going to the parks or just being outside and doing outdoor activities. Some other things I like to do include playing badminton, listening to music, watching TV, spending time with my cat, and doing some basic drawings and paintings here and there, and also cooking. I was placed into an engineering program when I went to Johnson Senior High School, and that was more through like a busing transportation program that was going on at the time. They provided me busing for where I lived in proximity to the school area, and so I was in the engineering program that they had at the time. And so I took a lot of PLTW classes, project leader way classes, in addition to my other core and elective classes. And so I've always done well in my math classes, in science and engineering. In addition to that, was also one of the other types of classes that I was enjoying a lot of my learning in, and I was learning new and different things that wasn't before. And so it was a lot of fun in those classes. And so overall, I could say I was a little bit more passionate about the math, science, engineering courses that I was taking. Later on in high school, I participated in a STEM program that was in partnership with our high school called Above the Edge, which helps inspire, guide, and provide support for youth in various areas. But in this case, it was STEM that I was in. And so through the PLTW classes and Above the Edge, I was able to have many opportunities to be exposed to different engineering professionals and the projects that they work on. And then sometimes we visited colleges that have engineering programs. And so we will go to those college visits, and they will talk about the different projects that they get to work on. And so through these two PLTW classes and Above the Edge, it was kind of pointing me toward the engineering path a little bit towards the end of my high school career. But at this point, I still didn't really know what I wanted to do. And so then I think it was towards the end of my first semester in senior year, the program coordinator to Above the Edge, she is a Johnson staff. And so she came to me and told me about a hiring opportunity at MnDOT called the Phoenix program, where they hire high school seniors for the different positions that they have at MnDOT. And so she suggested and encouraged me to apply for it. And then at the time, I didn't really think much about it, other than that it was about time that I should apply for academic related job positions. And so I went for it. It wasn't maybe until 2 or 3 months later, after I already started working at MnDOT, that I finally learned and realized that it was civil engineering that I was working in. So I was in a final design office where we drafted roadway construction projects for upcoming projects. And so I was in there for the second semester of my senior year. And then I transitioned into the college student worker program the MnDOT has, called the SEEDS program. And I was in there for 5 years. So I spent 1 semester in the Phoenix student worker program, and then 5 years in the SEEDS student worker program. So in total, I have about 5.5 years working in MnDOT before I graduated from college, and I applied for the grad program and got accepted as a grad engineer, which is where I am right now. I spent my first year of college at McAllister with their 3-2 engineering program in mind. I knew that going to college, I wanted to go into some sort of engineering. I just didn't know which specific type of engineer I wanted to do. But then my plans changed a little bit later. And so I transferred from McAllister to the University of St. Thomas. So a day in the life of my job, it It varies sometimes, but for the most part, I work very closely with my supervisor, especially now that I'm still in engineering training. And so in signal operations, if I'm working on a project or like a study, I would go from uh, looking at video recordings of, because we have cameras at intersections and they store recordings of past recordings, and so I would go into those and look at those and observe any of the measures that I need to take for a specific study. So for example, we are working on detection project where we would go in the recordings and see how much screen time the main line is getting for a certain amount of time, how many cars are passing through the green, how many cars are coming through and they're getting a red light, and how many of them are running the red light. And so we're just documenting those data, and then changing how far back the detector is sensing the cars as they're coming through, changing that distance to see if we would see improvement in how many people are coming through, how many are getting the red light, and when they get the yellow, do they um, go for it or do they stop for it? And then around the rush hour off time, around 3 to 5, when it's rush hour, we would check in Google Maps for traffic and see if any where is jamming up. In particular, if it's too busy, we will look into it and see if we can change the pattern to maybe like one that will allow more cars to come through. This time during COVID, certainly the volumes and the traffic flow has changed. And so we can't just um, have the main lines, let's say they run for a certain amount of time, and now we don't have as many people coming through anymore. We can't let the side streets just wait for no cars to come through and wait for the green to be done with its green time or its red time. We modify existing traffic signal schedules and override those with what we call COVID schedules to accommodate this new flow of traffic, and just like different patterns of when it's busier through the day or not during COVID time, so that we can make sure that these signals are operating as efficiently as possible to let as many people get through as they need to be to get from point A to point B. Something I see that I imagine would be coming in the future would be more diversity, not just in gender, but also ethnicity and just ideas in general too. New eyes and fresh minds will detect new problems, and they will improve on existing solutions, or they will come up with new solutions that I believe will make things work better and better. Than they are today, for and just come up with new technologies in the future to make things work better overall. Some advice I would have are to just, if when you're working in the workplace, to build good relationships with those that you work with, and make good connections with those that you may not work directly with but you encounter, and because that way you are setting yourself up for more opportunities. You're leaving the doors open to more opportunities later down the road that may not come to you with a smaller group of people that you know, but for your connections in the network that you have, it will come through those people, just what they know or what they could take you to.